You imagine Victorian tea as something delicate, genteel, hushed, perfectly composed, and you're right. But only about the surface. Because the truth is far more intricate than porcelain and politeness. Tea didn't flourish in drawing rooms. It was born in the streets, purchased with careful coins that stretched across a week, carried through soot and damp air, guarded as though it were something sacred. So we begin not where the teacup rests, but where it truly begins, in the hands of those who choose it, who measure it, who carry it home, one steady step at a time. Until finally the bell rings, and in that moment the finest cups emerge from where they're kept, as if magic itself had arranged them. The door opens with a soft, familiar chime. Inside, the world shifts. The air is warmer than it was outside, gentler somehow. It smells of paper and aged wood, and underneath, something sharp and clean. The aroma of dry tea leaves, black and tightly curled, sealed away in their metal homes. The walls are lined with tins that bear names like poems. Assam, Darjeeling, Ceylon, China. Each one whispers of distant places. Mountains wrapped in mist. Gardens that stretch beyond imagination. A small world, carefully contained. The customer who enters today is not the mistress of the house. She seldom is. It's a maid, her cap pulled secure, her hands already reddened by cold. She carries a folded note. The household list. These small papers are not mere instructions. They are the laws of the home, translated into words. Not excessive, the note might read, and not the inferior kind, guests are coming. The shopkeeper knows this dance by heart. There's a pause, a question, delicately posed, a weighing not just of tea, but of what the household can afford. A brass scoop dips into the tin. Leaves tumble like whispers into a paper cone. A balance scale settles. Slow, deliberate, precise, as if it were a tiny courtroom deciding the value of this particular moment. The maid watches the needle rest. She watches as the shopkeeper's fingers fold the paper, twist it with practiced elegance, tie it secure. A small parcel, modest, yet essential. Because tea is never merely a drink, tea is a language. Tea announces, this household is managed. This home is respectable. This family has a place in the world. The street claims her the moment she steps back into it. Boots strike stone in a steady rhythm. Wheels rattle across the cobblestones. Somewhere, a horse shifts, impatient to continue. The air carries hints of coal smoke. It settles on your clothes before you even realize it's there, becoming part of you. The parcel is held close, protected carefully. Everything in London feels perpetually damp. The fog, the brick, the hems of every skirt. A maid learns quickly what matters in a household by what must be safeguarded on the walk home. Bread cannot be crushed beneath the weight of other parcels. Meat cannot drip through paper. And tea, precious tea, must arrive untouched and whole. She passes shop windows filled with things she will never own. Porcelain arranged like treasures. Ribbons in shades she's never seen. Gloves in butter-soft leather. She doesn't pause. She can't afford to. There are hours yet to keep. A fire waiting to be tended. A kettle waiting to be filled. Water waiting to be drawn. And upstairs, a household stands ready to transform into something elegant at precisely the right moment. The townhouse stands in a neat row of identical neighbors, tall and narrow. Its facade clean enough to pretend that the city beyond its walls is not dirty. But a townhouse is never one world. It is always two, existing in the same space, utterly separate. Above, the rooms where people are seen, polite, careful, composed, controlled. Below, heat and damp and the endless conversation with coal. Labor, movement, the machinery of gentility. The maid enters quickly, using the door not meant for guests. The front hall is silent, though not with a true silence. Even quiet in these houses obeys rules. She moves toward the back, toward the service staircase, toward those hidden steps that don't announce themselves. The grand staircase belongs to visitors. The servant stair belongs to getting things done without being observed. This is the Victorian art, making all labor disappear from sight. Downstairs, the kitchen speaks a different language. The air is heavier here. Warm iron, boiling water, the faint memory of onions from earlier preparations. The tea parcel is placed on the table with ceremony, carefully, as though it were a letter bearing important news. A tin is opened. The leaves pour in, dark, fragrant, each one curled like a tiny secret. And now, beneath the floorboards above, the house begins its transformation, from working hours into something meant for display. Making tea properly is not a simple task. It is, in every sense, a performance. It begins with the kettle, not electric, never instantaneous. Water must be carried by hand. It must be poured with intention. It must be watched as it slowly heats. The fire must be tended. The heat must be exact. And even once the water has reached its boil, the work is not finished, because the teapot itself must be warmed first. A rinse of hot water swirled around and poured away, so the tea won't cool too quickly, so it will steep with proper strength. Then the leaves, measured with care, never guessed at. 1 spoonful per person and 1 for the pot, the saying goes. It sounds like superstition, but it's really what people do when they care about being correct. Milk is arranged on a small table. Sugar is measured into delicate bowls. Cakes wait on a covered plate, hidden until the exact moment they're needed. Somewhere above, the drawing room is being arranged like a stage. Cushions straightened, curtains adjusted, the light adjusted. Everything is meant to look effortless, which means someone worked very hard to make it appear that way. Upstairs, the household becomes a different version of itself. Dresses are changed. Hair is smoothed and pinned. Buttons are fastened with care, not because anyone is attending a ball, not at all, but because tea time is where the day is judged, where manners are visible, where children learn how to sit without fidgeting, how to speak without embarrassing the family, how to be still. A gentleman's collar is stiff and precise. A lady's sleeves are arranged just so. Even comfort becomes a kind of discipline here. Because in Victorian life, respectability is not something you feel. It is something you display, maintained every single day. There are invisible lines in a house like this, lines that mustn't be crossed. The drawing room is for being seen. The kitchen is for making things possible. And between them runs the servant stair, the hidden spine, the secret strength of the home. The tray is lifted with infinite care, balanced as if it holds something infinitely fragile. The cups clink softly with each step, barely a whisper of sound. The maid climbs the stairs reserved for servants alone. At the landing, she pauses. The teapot is steadied. The milk jug is centered. The sugar bowl is arranged just so. And then she approaches the drawing room door. A soft knock, respectful, quiet, unobtrusive. A brief permission from within. She enters. For one moment she is visible, and the room collectively pretends not to notice her. This is another Victorian rule. The servant exists as a function only, never as a person, never as someone with interior experience. The tray descends gracefully onto the table. The teapot is positioned with care. A cup is lifted. Tea pours into porcelain. It streams like liquid silk, like amber light made tangible. Steam rises, delicate and pale, a scent that is both clean and bitter, comforting and slightly austere. And in that aroma, the room becomes what everyone expects it to be: calm, refined, safe, complete. Tea time appears gentle, refined, peaceful. But it vibrates with quiet power. Who pours first? This matters. Who takes sugar? This matters. Who speaks and who remains silent? This matters deeply. Even the silences carry weight. A lady might ask a question that sounds polite, but carries something sharper underneath. How is your mother's health? A gentleman might respond with a tone that reveals far more than words ever could. Children watch intently, learning which rules are spoken aloud and which are invisible, embedded in gesture and timing. And all of this happens while hands move with precision, while cups are lifted with care, while smiles are maintained. The cakes are sweet, yes, but the room itself is not sweet. The room is controlled. Because tea time is where the Victorian home proves itself, not with grand gestures or loud declarations, but with small, perfect details. A clean cup, a warm pot, a quiet child, a household that appears to run itself. And if you listen very carefully, beneath the polite crystalline clink of porcelain, you can almost hear what's hidden. The coal fire breathing in the room below, the sound of water being carried, the quiet labor that made this moment possible, kept entirely out of sight so the family can call it proper. That is the Victorian way, a world built on invisible rituals, where comfort is staged with precision, where respectability is performed like a familiar dance, where even a simple cup of tea carries the weight of an entire household's order. This is just one moment in one home. Imagine the thousands of others happening in thousands of drawing rooms, all at precisely the same time, all sustained by those walking unseen through the spaces below. The Victorian era was built on these moments, delicate, controlled, infinitely complex, and each one began with a maid, a parcel, a walk through London streets, and a quiet choice to make beauty possible. For those who wish to continue this journey through time, other moments await, other rooms, other stories, other rituals. The Victorian home has far more to reveal. Thank you for walking with me through this moment.